welcome back to FOXSOUL's Black Report. Well, a new national poll released by No Kid Hungry reveals middle-income parents surveyed struggle to provide their family for basic needs.
And no surprise here, Nicola, among middle and low-income parents, more than half did not have enough money to pay for food or rent or mortgage payments, and more than 1 in 3 also struggled to pay for health care and child care in the past 12 months. Low-income parents also were the most likely to report being worried about losing pay or losing their job if they had to miss work due to child care issues.
And here to discuss the poll and its impact on communities of color is Pamela Taylor, No Kid Hungry Chief Brand Strategy and Communications Officer. Welcome to FOXSOUL's Black Report.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today. Before we discuss that poll, tell us a little about the work of No Kid Hungry.
Yes, No Kid Hungry is a campaign from Share Our Strength, our national organization. And we are working to end childhood hunger all across the country. And we do that by supporting programs like school breakfast and summer meals and advocating for local policies that help children get 3 meals a day, 365 days a year, and looking at some of those federal policies that promote nutrition programs so that it's easier for families to go to their grocery retailers and put food on the table for their families.
What are some of the most compelling findings in the poll, specifically when it comes to Black kids?
So, we've heard for years that families that live in low-income communities have been struggling to provide food for their kids, for their households. But this study revealed that we're seeing this now in middle-income families. And we know Black families span the spectrum. They're in low-income communities, middle-income communities. And when we start to see this creep into higher income levels, we know that that's widening the number of children who are facing hunger and the number of families who are struggling to put food on their table. We're seeing numbers like 48% of lower income households, 58% of middle income households are struggling to meet the daily needs just to go out and buy food every day.
Yeah, and then you lay this inflation on top of that. How is it specifically impacting kids and their health?
So you were just talking a little bit about that, right? Mm-hmm. Mortgage have increased. We just saw the Fed today increase rates by 1/4 point. Rent, utilities, gas, clothing, everything has been impacted by inflation. But when you put all of that together, families find that they're going to have to either skip meals or parents are skipping meals to make sure their kids can eat. And for families in Black communities, that just is an extra layer of stress. And we're also seeing that manifest itself in children and parents' mental health. One thing we know is that children absorb what their parents are experiencing. And when you have kids that are worried about their parents not eating or themselves eating, when they go to school, eager to learn and be with their friends and have a great time, that weight of mental health stress on them impacts their ability to learn, their ability to grow and be healthy, and just their overall well-being.
I really appreciate the point you just made about how children absorb what their parents are experiencing. And I'm hoping that you can share, some tips, tools, and resources that are out there for some of our parents that are watching.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are many mental health agencies that have resources that are available for parents to talk to their kids about some of the economic stressors that they may be facing as a family. You want to be able to talk to your children in a way that makes sense to them and makes them feel secure, but understand that we may not be able to get, that extra pair of kicks that you were just talking about with the Foot Lockers closing,
right.
Or we may have to cut back on a few things, but the important thing is to make sure you understand what your children are processing. A lot of kids at school are all facing the same thing. What this survey reveals is that this is not just in low-income communities. We're now seeing this become more widespread. We hear stories I saw this morning on the news about how many college kids are dealing with mental health and mental health stressors. So looking at your local communities, mental health agencies at the federal level that can help provide resources on how to talk about the economic stressors and how to better deal with mental health issues that you don't want to see your children, carry with them into their childhood or into adulthood. That is not necessarily the work that we do at No Kid Hungry, but this is something that is a universal and community-wide effort that we all come together to address the various lanes that we're all in. We're very focused on making sure kids get 3 meals a day, 365 days a year. We want to advocate for what do we need today to help families meet those needs, but we're also looking at what do families need tomorrow and forever so that they aren't relying on supplemental nutrition programs and they're able to have the economic security and mobility that they need to start to build wealth and generational poverty. And these are some of the reasons why mental health counseling is so important. And if we can break that cycle, then we will see healthier outcomes mentally, physically, spiritually, all the way around.
Indeed. Ms. Taylor, you mentioned, healthy meals and what's needed. With these new constraints and considerations in place, especially the challenges now with middle class Blacks to feed their children, has what a healthy meal is, has that shifted in any kind of way? What would you still consider to be a healthy meal? Is it 3 times a day? Do we need snacks in between? Break that down for us a little bit.
Yeah, well, for children especially, we focus on 3 meals a day. Now, what institutes healthy? We know culturally for us, we have the foods that we like. I'm not sure that it's going to be lab-grown chicken, but if that's what we're going to get, we're going to get, right?
Come on now, Ms. Taylor. Come talk
sure
about
either.
it. Me neither.
But obviously proteins are important, and making sure children are getting the proteins that they need, be it through meat or plant-based proteins. We encourage students to have fresh fruits and vegetables. But if you can't, as families, access fresh fruits because you might be living in a food desert or you might be living in a rural community where access to fresh fruits and vegetables aren't as plentiful, canned, frozen, dried, any types of fruits and vegetables are considered to be healthy. Then we look at whole grains and beans and legumes and other types of healthy carbs that round out a meal. For those of us that are a little bit older and of a certain age, we're encouraging to snack in between. The same thing for kids, giving them that opportunity. But accessing what you can that is fresh is always the leading factor. And then there are many other options. And if you want to come to nokidhungry.org, we have multiple resources through our Cooking Matters program, which is a nutrition education program that provides multiple recipes. We try to make sure we're sharing things that are culturally relevant for Black and brown families because we know how we like to eat certain foods.
Oh, yes.
We sure do.
Oh,
We
yes.
also want to keep those healthy. So we provide a number of resources for families through nokidhungry.org and through our Cooking Matters program.
Before we let you go, we want to ask you just real quick, what's the Watch What 3 Meals Can Do campaign? In like 30 seconds, what is it?
Yes, that is our spring campaign, Watch What 3 Can Do. Children are creative and innovative and energetic, but they need the nutrition to make sure they can go out and run track and do dance and do pottery and do STEM exercises. We want to make sure kids can get those 3 meals a day, and once they get those, see what these kids can do. They can do miraculous things. The power of 3 is one of our key campaigns for this spring. So thank you for asking about that.
Amen to that.
Keep up the good work.
That's right. Ms. Pamela Taylor, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate your ministry and your efforts. And you're now an official soulmate, so we'll definitely have to have you back and talk more about this cause. Thank you so much.
Amen to that, and I am happy to come back at any time.
Absolutely. Take care. Thank you again.
Thank you.